Hello everyone, it's Cole here with episode 21 of Questions for Cole. Well, we're into autumn now. The leaves are turning. There is definitely some beauty in the trees above us. I hope we all take some time to look up and enjoy the beauty of God's creation, even while we're wading through the muck of our present reality on the ground. I received two funny questions this week, both about our Knitters Nosh group that used to meet at the church once a month. Then they took an extended break through the spring and summer months during the pandemic, the early stages of it. But now they have gathered back again in the sanctuary last Thursday for the first time in over 6 months. I heard from a reliable source that it was a very good gathering. 10 or 12 knitters or so brought their projects. Some more beautiful shawls have been finished, and some are being worked on as we speak. A big thank you to those who continue to create such beautiful shawls for us to share with people who need them in our community and beyond. I should take a moment to remind all of you watching that if you know of someone who could use one of our prayer shawls, just let us know and we can have you come over and pick one out for whoever it is at the church. We have lots to share, and it can be such a caring expression of God's love for someone who's going through a tough time. Now to the questions that came in. As I said, they're both funny this week, at least I think they are. The first one comes from one of our Selkirk United folks who now lives in BC but stays in touch with us. Her question is, Cole, have the girls in the knitting group taught you to knit yet? No, they haven't. They have threatened to teach me in the past, but nothing has come of that so far. Now that someone has brought it up again, perhaps they will renew their efforts to conscript me. We shall see. You know, one day when they were working on their projects, I dropped by for some cookies and snacks that they always bring. I swear I saw one of them using curling brooms instead of knitting needles. That might actually help entice me to try it. Stay tuned. And the next question comes from the knitters themselves. And it says, Cole, we missed you at Knitters Nosh this week. Our question is, did you not come because there were no cookies? Yes, mostly. I was I was also recording the Sunday service that day, and we had our council meeting later in that day, so it was a particularly full day. Basically, it was a decision between having a Sunday service at all that week or hanging out with the knitters at Knitters Nosh. So far, there's only been one thumbs up on the YouTube for that Sunday service, so I'm not sure whether or not I made the right decision. If there had been cookies, that would definitely have made the decision much easier. Thanks for the questions, and thanks even more for the beautiful work that you all do. Speaking of the Knitters Nosh gathering, I also want to share something else that I heard about that gathering last Thursday. They gathered in the sanctuary. It was reported that those who gathered seemed to be a bit quieter than usual. We're not sure why. Maybe just the fact of having to socially distance, being further away from each other. Maybe the reality of COVID that we're all facing. Maybe because of the location. Maybe gathering in the sanctuary has a different feeling than gathering in the youth room where they used to gather. That word sanctuary has been rolling around in my head a bit this week, partly because I've been thinking about our sanctuary and wondering how others are feeling about missing it, or needing it, or at least needing the feeling you sometimes get when you're in the sanctuary, or the closeness that you can feel to God, the sense of the holy. There are other ways of finding that, of course, but sometimes it's hard to create new habits that recreate particular feelings or moods, especially when the old ones have been so important or so meaningful. The other reason I've been thinking about the word sanctuary this week is because of something that I read earlier this week. It was a meditation about a song, and the song was titled Sanctuary. The song Sanctuary is sung by Carrie Newcomer, and we've included a link to it in the email that was sent out to everyone in the congregation with this questions and the midweek message on it. So you can click on that link if you like after the episode or whenever and listen to the song. For those of you who didn't receive an email and have just found us on your own on YouTube, you can just type in Sanctuary and Carrie Newcomer into the YouTube search bar and it should come up. Let me just share some of the words I thought were particularly meaningful in the song. Part of the chorus is, "Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's almost gone? Will you be my sanctuary till I can carry on?" And one of the verses has these words, "In a state of true believers, on streets called us and them, it's going to take some time till the world feels safe again. Will you be my refuge, my sanctuary, till I can carry on?" Some powerful words for us in these days we're living in. Christine used that song for inspiration and wrote the following meditation. She starts by quoting a scripture passage that I'm sure you'll be familiar with. She says, "Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Those are Jesus' words from Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30. And then Christine continues saying, "My early Sunday school learning consisted of memorizing Bible verses, even if we didn't understand what they meant. We'd get gold stars on a poster on the wall. And when we reached a certain number, we got a prize. I don't remember what the prize was, but I do remember one and only one of the verses we had to memorize, and this is it. It spoke to me as a child, even though as a city girl I had no idea what a yolk was. Yes, I did think it was the inside of an egg for a time, which at that time was not my favorite part. I did, of course, eventually figure out that a yolk is different from a yolk, spelled Y-O-L-K. Isn't English grand? But by then I was a little worried about it. The only times I heard that word was in the context of things like the yoke of slavery or the yoke of oppression. And looking at pictures of one, it looked like a medieval torture device. That was supposed to be light? Looked pretty heavy to me. I came to understand that the yoke Jesus is talking about here is something to help pull that heavy load with me, like two oxen yoked together to pull a cart. And instead of that heavy-looking wooden beam, it's more like a warm arm around the shoulders. I think most of us could sure use that warm arm right now and rest for our souls. "Come to me," he said. Let us come any way we can. My prayer for you, for all of us this evening, she says, is to feel held in that warm embrace heading into the night, so that tomorrow we can arise ready to pull some more. There is some heavy pulling up ahead, but we do not pull alone. Amen. That's a meditation from Christine. I hope that you find some hope in these words and in the beautiful song, Sanctuary. I know that I did, and we could all really use some more hope these days. Stay well, friends. Keep sending in your questions, and I'll see you soon.